Everyone, welcome to the new video. So today we will see another question of scenario-based interview question and answer series that we are continuing. So this question is basically about the disaster recovery, and we'll study or we'll understand it in detailed manner. So without further ado, let's start. So the scenario is your Amazon EKS production cluster suddenly becomes unavailable because of accidental deletion of critical control plane resources. More than 150 applications are affected, and the business requires recovery within 30 minutes, and data loss should not exceed 5 minutes. Now, the backups are available through Velero and databases are replicated across regions. So, this is a very good catch that backups are already available through Velero and the databases are replicated across regions. So we don't have, we just, our application is up and running, it will be able to, pick up the database because it is replicated across region. So explain your disaster recovery process. How would you restore Kubernetes resource, persistent volume, secret config map, ingress, resource DNS, and monitoring? And how would you validate that production is functioning correctly before declaring the incident resolved? So, first of all, I would like to say that what is Velero? If you don't know about Velero, Velero is it runs in Kubernetes cluster like a pod, and it will help in taking the backup. So it basically runs as pod and it knows uh, all the resources it has to take backup of, where it has to store all the backup, and at what time or when it has to take the backup. Think of it like that. At night we all usually see that all our media gallery, everything is backed up by and stored in Google Drive. Just like that, Velro works in Kubernetes. It runs inside the Kubernetes cluster. It takes all the backup of the resources like deployment, and then the secrets, config map, ingress, everything, and it will store it as a YAML file. So it will store it as a YAML file. It will whatever is running like deployment pod, ingress, services, config map, whatever is running, it will store the data and will keep it as a YAML file in S3, AWS S3. And whatever the persistent volume or the volumes and everything, it will take a snapshot of it, and it will store it it will take it as a EBS snapshot of it. Okay. And in this way it takes the backup of the volumes and the resources running. So Velro, I hope Velro, little bit you get this confusion is clear that what is Velro, and why it is a good catch if this is given. So this will help us a lot in creating our the resources in the Kubernetes cluster. Now after that, let's start. So basically, the scenarios that are there are 150 applications which are affected. Recovery time objective is 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes we are able to bring everything up, and the recovery point objective means only 5 minutes data we can exceed to loss. So Velro backups available, database replicated across region. So in this way, as soon as we connect our database to our application, that should be our goal. So suppose if we have two scenarios, if we already have the IAC code, infrastructure as a code, already present, or infrastructure as a code is already present, or um, if it will not be present. So in case if it is not present, then our RTO, that is 30 minutes RTO time, can exceed, and we should communicate this properly if we don't have IAC code. So that we should be very clear, because we have to create it manually now. But if we have infrastructure as a code in place, then we will be able to create it from the code by running it. So we need to create new EKS, stop new deployments. We need to create new EKS cluster using IAC. Then we need to install the required add-ons like CNI plugins, everything, CNI plugins, all the plugins that are required in for the control node. Then restore using Velero. So we have a command to backup, like from restoring Velero restore from backup, and we need to give the backup. It will restore our Kubernetes resources, volumes, everything. So we need to restore everything, update DNS to new, connect to replica database, restore monitoring, validate application, incident resolved. So first of all, we need to restore ingress. That will help in directing the traffic. Then we need to do the update of DNS in load balancer, or route S53, and then if load balancer is there, then that we need to create. That will all get created through IAC. Just we need to connect and check everything is passing on. But in case if we don't have IAC code, then we need to use existing AWS infrastructure. First of all, we need to collect the information, what all is existing, what got deleted. Then we need to try create new EKS cluster manually, and then we need to restore using Velero. So this will take time because installing Kubernetes add-on, creating everything manually. So you need to be very specific if the RTO you cannot meet. So this is basically using with a IAC and without IAC. So you should be able to answer. You should keep in mind and keeping both the scenarios in the mind, and then try to answer this question. Next question is about blue green deployment, because basically it has been asked that how will you do a because we don't want the downtime. So how will you implement blue green deployment? I'll try to make it very easy, so that you can understand. The blue green deployment, there are two environments, we switch the traffic. But actually, yeah, in a very simple term, I'll try to explain so that it gets very easily, and you are from there on you won't be having any confusion about blue green. So yeah, stay connected, stay tuned. That's all for today's video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know your views in the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye.